Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Virtek and Chibi Bree, are back from their latest adventures.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with the Golden Feather. I'm realizing a mistake that I made, but in the meantime, we're waiting for Antici with AlphaSoul.
With AlphaSoul.
Anyway.
Waiting for the Alpha with Antici. We'll get to that. With the AlphaSoul.
It sounds like you were just holding a sneeze there.
Good.
It's a really bad sneeze. If I didn't hold it, we would all die. So, nice. You just went on a roundabout trip somewhere, right? Didn't you?
Yeah. I'm actually back from. So, my wife had a business trip to Stockholm, Sweden, and so we ended up making a vacation out of it as well too. So we went to Stockholm and tacked on a trip to Copenhagen as well too, and we just spent 2 weeks there. And it was also our first international trip with our toddler. She's 2 years old, and so a whole new experience coming with it. I don't think I'll do it again until she's probably like 5 or so.
I was just about to ask how that flight went.
The flight wasn't bad, to be honest. It's more that we have her on a schedule, so her whole schedule was messed up, and then so she was waking up when we were there at like 3 a.m. and wanted to, play.
Oh, nice.
And then, yeah.
Let's go make noise.
Yeah, exactly. So it just felt like babysitting in another country. So that's
that's always
no
fun.
more until 5. Yeah.
But once words are understood, sleep longer.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
Go back to sleep. Yes, you can stay up. Yes, we'll give you sugar so you can help stay up. No, you cannot get sugar later.
It's all along those rounds. Yeah. Exactly.
I was also wanting to mention, for those of you who don't know, AlphaSoul is also from the DCN, so the Dungeon Crawler Network, which is one of the first podcasts I was ever a part of. And what kind of caused me to fall in love with podcasting in the first place. Enough that I was like, let's create my own podcast.
Nice.
That was so much fun.
Very cool.
Any news with DCN?
Then we got... Oh, yeah.
That can be shared at least, Alpha?
Oh, sorry. So with DCN right now, as many of you know, we're actually not doing the podcast on Ashes of Creation right now. We all kind of came together and basically thought that, hey, we've done most of what can be covered, if you can say that, of theory crafting and everything like that. And then on top of it, like actually creating and doing the podcast was actually a lot of work done primarily by one person, which is Jealous. And he's gotten a lot busier in his personal life as well too, and so we had already even made a decision to scale back before that, but with him taking a little bit of a step back, we've basically stopped doing the podcast for the time being. We're not sure if we're going to pick it up again. That if we do, it'll probably be after Alpha 1 starts, or even after release starts, and there's concrete stuff to talk about and be within a show that consists of a weekly basis. But ultimately, I think that decision is probably going to rest on Agelos and kind of what Ashes is putting forward from that point. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then Agelos has a more detailed post on the Dungeon Crawler Discord, where he details out specifically like what's going on in his personal life and things like that. So it's worth a read. But that's it. Yeah.
Cool. We wait as well in anticipation of that returning.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our other content creators can sympathize with us in the fact that, and as well as with DCN, that with the lack of constant content being like kicked out to us, it's a little harder to constantly be covering things, which is why we did step down to twice a month. But we are anticipating being able to ramp back up into a weekly podcast eventually. Pending more information coming out,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
for now, we're just excited to bring you guys, the best information we can bring you with what we have. You're shocked to see us broadcasting? I'm not too shocked to see us broadcasting. We have a lot to talk about. One thing is those like super terrifying cosmetics in the bottom corner over there.
I like them.
They're
like 'em a
so
lot, too.
scary to me. Also,
I want
welcome
the puppy.
Dark Water, and I wanted to say thank you very much to both let me see Theater Elf and Lex Max for your subscriptions. You guys are helping us be able to continue producing good quality content. I've been able to replace my light, so we're back in business on that one.
Yeah. In case you didn't notice her fading very slowly every day as the sun goes down.
Yeah, I was just like, ugh, because it would start off nice and bright like this, and then as time went on, it would like randomly stop working. So I was just relying on sunlight, and I was just like, oh, I hate this. But yes,
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited that I'm terrified by this pack, to be honest. But it does feel like it's Halloween in March to me.
I'm just saying, I'm not big on naval combat, but I will own that ship. I will own that ship.
If I saw that ship coming, I would just be like, take it. Whatever it is you want, just take it. I'm done. Yeah, yours.
And I'm just
Please don't
saying,
name my ship.
bad taste or not, I'm sorry, but I'm definitely going to be naming that horse the Corona Pony. And
The
it's
what?
going to be my my mount, if I can make like a
Jeez.
necromancer type character. It's going to be the Corona Pony, and it's going to spread disease.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. On that note, we are all working from home today. In more seriousness, please make sure to take care of your health, everyone. And Intrepid has also decided to work from home to take care of their health. As many gaming companies are choosing to do. So yes,
A lot of
Basil,
companies.
you are not too late. Welcome in. Woodchip, thank you so much for the subscription. You've been there for 1 year. Hello, thank you so much.
Holy moly.
Yes, a lot of schools in our area have been shut down. Some schools, as far as like the college students that are on campus, they're seeing their friends either be forcibly taken out by their parents or moving back home for safety. A lot of people like for my instance, I'm in college, but I'm online. A lot of people who aren't online are going online for now. Actually, I came across this article where like these little kids didn't want to do school. They're excited to be out of school, and their school switched over to an app on like the App Store, and they found out if you lower the app score to 1 star, that it would be removed off the App Store. So all these kids like basically like attacked this app and brought it down to 1.4 stars, and the app's creator was like begging for life. He was like, please stop, give us mercy.
Oh,
like, don't remove us. So
Oh, jeez.
Don't
crafty
get
little
rid of
kids, just saying.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And BTW, along the lines of schools and the whole everything, for those in the US, don't want to let this expand out to become political, but just so you know, because I found out today, by the way, if you have student loans, the interest rate is being paused right now until further notice. So
Because nobody
just
can
figured
work,
I'd spread
really.
that.
But yeah.
Yeah, joy. I have a big
Currently
student
sick
loan.
of
I just got a
it. Oh,
master's
no.
degree, so I have a lot of money I owe.
Oh man,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel for you.
I'm also kind of sick. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm a little nasally today. I will be muting myself like I just did to cough for a moment. I will also be our resident bacon with my cough drops.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't share with you
Bacon
guys. I don't know how to
influenced Bree.
internet share yet. But yes, I shall. Yeah.
But yeah, just so you guys know, she woke up feeling like death, which I guess is appropriate for the cosmetics we're talking about.
True.
Today also is Happy Pi Day for those
yeah.
who did not realize.
Let me grab that real quick.
Yeah, I love the little image that Intrepid posted up there. I like how the art team is just doing random stuff.
They're just like, why not? Why not do? What are you guys doing for this pie day, by the way? I am not having any pie, but you know.
No pie.
Aw, Faisal, don't worry,
But,
I'm not gonna
we can
die.
look at it.
I'm just gonna
Not today.
sniffle a lot. But
Yeah, it's the There's definitely going to be
Ooh,
some
wait,
delays in the
wait.
video and graphic work.
Can I just say, look at that fork
Yeah, I just noticed.
and
the
that
fork and
knife.
now. Yeah.
That knife is like a mini sword. I love it.
I want that as a
Ooh,
letter
Kigobai.
opener.
Right?
Mm.
Just saying. It looks
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's like
these are the kind of utensils we'll have in game. Who knows?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
But yeah. So there's that one. I could go for that, right? Poseidon's fork.
Yeah, there was the dev discussion. Did you end up taking a look at that yet, Alpha?
Which dev discussion one? On the
On the
Yeah, which one?
12th, the group-oriented activities dev discussion number 16.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
What
was
sort of things stop you from joining a group or participating in group-oriented activities?
yes. I actually answered that one, I think. Been trying to get to at least half of them. Yeah, I got to it. What do you want me to tell you what I answered or what?
Yeah, like what do you think? What would stop you from joining a
Davlos.
group or participating in group-oriented activities?
Thank you very much, Davlos, for the donation. That was very kind of you.
I've always thought that I think that this was actually very similar to a question that they had posed a while ago. Let me find the question real quick because
Yeah, that's what I felt like too. I was like, didn't we already do this one?
yeah, that, let me find it before I
I
wanna
think
make
it
sure
was
that
do you enjoy gaming in groups or something along that?
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember as I was answering it, I'm like, I think I've said this before. And then
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, it was something like what do you like to see in groups, or what would draw you into a group
yeah.
content or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like it
Or,
was definitely a repeat, Jemmy. But I mean,
Yeah.
I
So-
think they're trying to go to the opposite side of it. Like, why would you want to join a group versus like why would you not want to join a group now? Or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So the way that I answered it kind of was like this. That whenever I look at joining groups or not joining groups, I'm always kind of running down a checklist in my head, right? So the first thing that I kind of think of is, all right, well, is it actually worth my time to join, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, and that could be from many angles. It could be from an experience angle. It could be from an item angle. It could be from a fun angle. Like I remember games like EverQuest, for example, which would allow, they required groups of like, I think it was like 6 players or something like that. And you needed all of a certain class. And if you didn't have a certain class at that particular time, you couldn't do a dungeon. It wasn't just DPS. It wasn't just DPS, tank, and heals. It was DPS, tank, heals. You needed a snarer, you needed a mezzer, and then you needed these specialized classes that filled these little niche roles so you could handle all of what's thrown after you, which was a good novel idea. But if you didn't have that class makeup, it could take you 2 hours to figure out and get that class makeup and then go off doing it, meaning it wouldn't actually be worth it to do it at that point. Yeah, you know, reward.
Okay, so
sorry.
That probably ties into something that Stephen was saying before, how they were going to make certain tricks in the dungeon and ways to get through it accessible by only a certain class. But I mean, later on, he clarified that it was going to be, you know, that wasn't going to be the only way to do it. There was going to be another class that could do it a different way in a different place. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see with that how you could run it with different class comps and like which way would be faster, which way would be shorter, which way, like maybe if a tank can like bust down a wall or something like that, then, you know, maybe that'll be a more damage laden path, and like a rogue sneaking through somewhere is going to be more of a stealth, like you got to sneak through better to take that shortcut.
Yeah. I'm curious what they'll do with that. I mean, the other weird thing, I mean, as you guys probably heard, the stream probably didn't see it before that, but I also have a kit, and I've got a kit on the way as well too, and that means that I've got thanks.
Your hands
and that
full?
means that I've got limited. Yeah, my hands full. I've got limited time, right? So I know the times that I'll be able to play. Generally, it's anything past 8 o'clock, and then into, you know, the morning hours, and or if I'm in the during the day, I might have like an hour or so here or there. If I log in, sometimes depending on the speed of how quickly you can get a group together and actually do something, I might not actually have time to, jump into an actual group. So that may factor into if it's worth it for me to actually join a group, use a group. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I hear that. Going along with what the chat is talking about, I feel like this is the beginning of that dungeon full of, like, orphans.
Good, like start sliding way off topic. Yeah, we got people congratsing you, and Taylor says AlphaSoul is pregnant, and
yeah.
If one of your little ones starts gaming, their streamer tag could be Alpha Seed.
Oh my god. We have AlphaSoul, Alpha Seed.
If I could get my kids to play, like when they become of age, oh man, that would be perfect.
That'd be awesome.
I have a feeling, just my luck, they're gonna hate it and they're not gonna like it, because right now my daughter is more along the lines of my wife, and she hates video games, and so it's I don't know. We'll see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll see. What you got to do is you got to start off early on saying no video games for you. That way they hit that rebellious stage and you can run with it.
That is true.
Oh my gosh.
That is true.
Which says the baby's name is Beta?
Or maybe if it's the last one, I'll name him Omega. Yeah.
There you go. Right before the snip. This is Omega. That's it.
Exactly.
AlphaSoul to his kids and Ashes of creation. I existed long before this universe was even created. Kids, wow.
Hey,
Big Tom UK, thank you so much for the gift sub. I think you were gonna say it too.
Appreciate it.
Welcome in, thank you.
But yeah, with me, like, things that stop me from joining a group or participating in group-oriented activities for myself.
Ooh,
honestly, just asshats. Really, I have to get to know the people. If the people seem like just asshats, like I don't want to play. Like I like to do like cutting edge tier rating and like dungeon running, and I like to go through the really tough stuff that people either haven't gotten through yet or have barely gotten through.
Yeah.
But I also don't like jumping in with true like elitist snobby people, because it's not fun. I play a game to have fun. I have fun in solving the problems, but I don't have fun in dealing with jerks. So
yeah.
Makes sense.
My thing, I don't know. Actually, I met some of my friends that I've been long friends with by like randomly hopping into like pugs. I'm just like, I don't know, just pug it, because I don't really have I don't always have friends to play with. Like when I was playing World of Warcraft with my dad initially, he'd quit for a while and we were just on different time zones, so we couldn't play together. And so I had to figure out people to play, and I just usually just pug it, and yeah, I think for the most part, as long as like the pugs are good, like I don't mind. I think it depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to like actually do some hardcore content or like something more serious, for the most part I'll check out the pug, and if they're kind of weak in terms of a certain threshold, like no offense, I don't mind. Like if I'm in the mood to help boost people, sure, I don't care. But if I'm in the mood to get through it, then I want somebody who's like around mine, or a little like more like, just like how World of Warcraft had the whole like the armor score basically that was recommended for each dungeon.
Gear score. Yeah, the gear score recommendation.
Sorry, it's changed over the years. I can't keep up with it. But yes.
Gotcha.
Mr. Kojak, Fushi, of course, hi. Giga, hello. I've seen, welcome everybody to our chat. Haven't seen you guys in a while.
You know, one thing games do to actually help that, what I found actually strangely helpful, Final Fantasy 14 does it. They have this Sproutling system.
Yeah.
Where if you're a new player or somebody that has just like reached max level, or just returned to the game, you've got this like sprout that indicates that you're a new player. And for some reason, players, for by and large, do not give Sproutlings a hard time. As soon as you lose that sprout. Yeah, I do too. But as soon as you lose that, that's when the flaming starts. And if you're a non-sproutling and you start screwing up, then you start seeing what Virtek mentioned, and you'll get flamed to God knows high hell if you manage
Which
to
is
mess
why
up.
I don't tank.
Yeah.
This is why I do not tank.
Oh no, see, I like to tank because then it usually gives me more authority to kick the jerks.
Yeah, but
I'm
you tried
sorry.
to
Yeah,
get me to tank, and I was
I'm
just
gonna
so
bail.
bad at it.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, wood chip!
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Wood chip. He's a superhero here. Holy moly.
I will welcome
Ooh.
myself. Welcome Tayloon. Welcome AlphaSoul. Welcome Malarian. To and sorry, Riesler.
Oh, cool.
Welcome to Subhood. Thank you so much, wood chip.
Mm,
So moving on. I don't know. I'm gonna throw my
Your-
own question out there. Along with the group activity, what is your favorite group activity? Like, what is some of your favorite content that required group activity?
Good question. Let me think for a bit.
I like these stupid random ideas that are literally, they have almost no point to them except, can we do this?
Yeah.
Things like the level 1 Hogger raids and things like that. Like just the random things, like, because you're going in all the time and you're always trying to push a purpose for your character. You're trying to advance your character. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. You're trying to be the best crafter. You got to craft all this stuff. But if you can log in and someone's like, hey, we want to go and take level 1s and see if we can cross the entire continent and just dance outside the other players' town and just annoy them. Like, we just want to dance around and get in the way of them doing their quests with their level 1s. If we die, I mean, that sucks. We got a long way to walk back, but let's see if we can even make it there. Like silly stuff like that. Like even just going and like searching for like, I don't know, Easter egg hunt type of things. Like those are always fun. Just gathering a group of people and saying, hey, can we do this thing? Can we go there? And can we
Just the one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually really enjoy like Easter eggy things and like I don't know, just things that are not your conventional gameplay. I guess it's a little bit more fun.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I really I found that I really like. So it's along the same things, Easter egg hunts type thing, like surprises that happen as you're normally questing or doing whatever you're doing. For a good example of it is in the Division 2 that I'm playing right now. There are, and I was telling you guys about this earlier, there's a thing called hunters, right? And hunters are tracking down and finding hunters, are piecing together clues that are around the world to get these guys to spawn. So that's one aspect of it. The second one is sometimes you'll get ambushed by rogue agents, which are essentially souped up hard versions of NPCs as you finish doing things. So it's almost like a surprise type name thing. So it's almost like random events that occur as you're doing things that are not normally there. I like those type of things that are, within games.
Right. That makes sense. I feel the same. I mean, I think some of my favorite things from Final Fantasy along the lines, like things that are not normally in the game, are like the little random things that like they do occasionally for like other games, like what they're doing with I haven't played it yet, but I suck at it. It's the one with A2 and B. Like
Nier
Automata. Yeah.
That's the
So
one.
things like that, or the Monster Hunter world, or things like that, like, I don't know, it adds more flavor, but like, of course, with Final Fantasy, it's more on like the whole Square Enix thing, so they have a little bit more flex that they can do with that. But I don't know, things like also the random dance that you can do with the,
The Manderville.
Yeah, the
Manderville.
Yeah.
like that
Yeah, see-
brings an interesting line of just story quests that you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the stuff like that. Like once people know about it, it's not quite as much like amazing, but the path and finding out when games put things in where you stumble across an item and you're like, what's this even for?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
But people like me that are pack rats, I'm gonna toss it in my bank, whatever. And then down the line, there's another thing you have no idea what it does. Another one you have no idea what it does.
Yeah.
And then finally you stumble across enough of them, and then you figure out that they all go together, or they're all used for this thing, or they're all used to do that. And then like that's when it gets kind of fun, because then down the line you just tell people like, you got to find all this stuff. Where'd you find it? I can't remember. It's all in my bank. Just saying, if you stumble across it, save it, because you need to find more.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on from this topic, I just also wanted to put a note, since we're right about, I know it's a little early to say right about the halfway mark, but for those of you that are just joining us, please feel free to stay with us. We are doing Jackbox after this. We'll just momentarily bring down the stream and then pull it right back up, and then do another 5-minute countdown to be able to like set up everything. But like, come join us for the Jackbox afterwards, because we've reached the 200 followers, and well, we said we were going to do this with you guys, so just so you guys know, and we'll explain everything, because there's different games. I'm attacking things, but there's
Karate
different
chop.
games within the Jackbox 3 box that we have. So yeah, but
Yeah, Jackbox is basically the ultimate in like party game.
yeah, that's fair. I like what Woodchip was saying. I've never played Rift, but apparently Rift did a good job with the whole adding flavor, I guess, to a video game back in the day. You do not need to download anything. In fact, there'll be like links and stuff that we can provide.
Yeah, and just so you know, with how it actually works, like we're gonna hook up the Switch to the stream and gonna end up playing the game, launching the game. It's gonna say go to jackboxgames.com or something like that. I forget the actual website. And you just put in the 4-digit code that pops up on the screen, and you join the game. We're going to accept a bunch of people into the Discord to join up with us and play with us if they wish. If not, you can feel free to play from the audience out here in Twitch land.
We need both sides, because the audience, you guys can also win.
Yeah, the audience can sometimes win the game. The audience can also do votes and such. Oh no, not over yet, Jess. We're just explaining. Somebody asked what Jackbox was, and we wanted to let people know that we're doing this after, in case they missed the other announcements. But yeah, no, we're not done yet.
But
yeah, you don't need anything.
Yeah, aside from that, you just mainly need your phone and your sense of fun. But yes, as I mentioned earlier, that like the devs and everybody from Intrepid is working from home. But we have some exciting news for next stream.
Bom, bom, bom.
Do you want to say it?
Well, I think we should probably hold off through the week just to make sure. To make sure, because I don't want to put it out there prematurely, because I know we mentioned it was supposed to be for this stream before, but then there was a last minute change, so we
That's fair. So like our title, we will keep you in suspense. Follow us on Twitter.
Follow on the Twitter.
But
the next one's your birthday? Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah. The next one is C's birthday.
Happens to everyone. That's why we keep you around, Dav. What's today? Give it out. Oh, today's your birthday? Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Maybe by the end of the Jackbox. If you can stay awake all the way to the end of the Jackbox games, then we'll tell you.
You have to work for it, apparently. There we go. Gotta work for it. Happy birthday, Z.
But sorry, as you were saying, Chibi?
As I was saying, some of the devs working from home, Intrepid has announced that there may be possible delays in video and graphic work. And of course, health is the most important thing to be doing right now, or worrying about. Like, I know my nose is itchy and everything, but I've been getting tons of rest, and Virtek has been very sweet in bringing me, like, soups and stuff. So, yeah.
She lies, it's all delivery. I bribed somebody. But yeah, I know that's even the case with my work. Like, it's only like mission critical people that need to go in and have. No one else gets to stay home.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is take the computer home with me, and I can plug it in, and I'll be just fine.
Your audio kind of went away for a second there, Virtek.
Ooh. Is it back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Were you typing on the keyboard just now?
Me? No.
Me?
Oh, was it you, Salfa?
That was probably me. Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure because we have a interesting setup with our mics where something happens, like when we first talk, if I do anything else, like, you guys will hear that because it hasn't gone all the way back down yet. But
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gate feature, but
just making sure that it's not affecting his microphone, that's all. So, fan focus. Virtek has found a Varan folklore.
yeah, there is a post. It is from Cheshire on the Ashes forums. I can go ahead and drop the link in there, but it looks like it could shape up to be something at least entertaining, to be honest, because it's totally fanfic, but going through and just kind of filling in some folklore type items. Just it's again one of those things, like, we don't really have solid content, especially in the lore department, like not a lot of it. So I think it'd be fun to kind of see where it goes, and I mean, maybe they'll even take a little bit of other writings if some people are interested in contributing to it. But the current part is about following two of the, I'm guessing supposed to be two of the bad gods. There's I believe it was the Undertaker and the Shrouded Lady, they're calling them. They're like worshippers of death. And look at those cosmetics they just popped up this month, so it works out pretty all right. But worshippers of death, not in like a bad, like they want to kill everybody way, but in a good, like, death is the last rest granted by the gods, therefore it's sacred, and so anything that threatens to like bring up undead should be totally eliminated.
Yeah, gotcha.
So kind of like a good guy but looks like a bad guy type of people. Yeah, Jess, there was. We actually went through that. That was actually the what would stop you from joining a group or participating in group-oriented activities.
Exactly. And feel free to share your opinion too. Yeah, I heard the Undertaker too. I was like thinking of like Rev 2220 immediately. I don't know why, but yeah.
I got it.
Oops.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Right now, there's only really one bit of writing, but there's a few things that they say are, in the works right now to be added to it. So it's an interesting read for when, between Granthor's stories.
Indeed. I just wanted to point out real quick for the monthly cosmetic that is out now. Let me pop it up real quick.
I like Taylor's statement there. When you worship a god of death and the god is like, oh, you're pretty all right. Might keep you around for a couple thousand years.
So these are the new March cosmetics that came out on March 4th. They will be here to stay until April 4th at 11 a.m. There was another announcement with that, but we're already past March 4th, so that's fine. But just remember, when the new cosmetics come out, that these will be removed at 11 a.m. on April 4th. So
before then, I will have my Corona pony. And the weird evil devil boiling lava ship.
You know,
Whatever
and that tower is like super interesting. Like the tower that we were all climbing for BR, that just looks like the evil god like took over it and just turned it into like a hell tower or something.
The evil version of it. Yeah.
It looks kind of vaguely reminiscent of some like Lich King styling.
Yeah, that's fair.
To be
yeah.
honest.
Oh my gosh, as Nagash jewels, right?
Not like a direct copy, but yeah, exactly. I mean, if his bones weren't dusty enough to prevent drool from even forming,
right?
Because
I mean,
they are.
This is definitely giving me
Oh no.
Like, what? What's
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh no. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready.
My DK, like this would be really cool for my DKs. My Death Knights.
Yeah.
Is that like is that like a necromancer mixed with like the horse is not invisible, I see just fine, right?
I'm sorry, that meme still makes me Crack up.
But like, I was just curious, is like a Death Knight gonna be like a necromancer mixed with like a tank or a fighter maybe?
Is there official Death Knight class name? I don't think.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I'm just pulling the idea from World of Warcraft and like what the equivalent might be in Ashes.
Summoner or warrior, maybe?
Maybe.
Or summoner
wonder-
fighter, rather?
I feel like there might need to be
Yeah.
like a necromancer or something in there. But I think you need mage and summoner for that. Or cleric and summoner. Something.
We can create it when they allow a third class.
We'll just like mash these together. I wonder if game people would confuse these items for being corrupted. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they'll just see it and they're like, oh no, the plague is upon us, run! Spellmancer?
Yeah.
Mage fighter? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm really
can see
curious
that.
to see how they do the corruption mechanic, how it's going to be visible.
But yeah, that cloak is pretty awesome too. A
I'm
little
saying, I like them
terrifying.
all. I like them all.
Summoner
I don't
mage,
usually
okay.
have like a demony, angry, mean, even necromancer type character, but when I do, that's pretty much the look I want right there.
Can I just say wood theater? Guys, we were wrong. It was not green cosmetics whatsoever.
Yeah, everyone was hoping for some kind of green cosmetics, and like since they were talking about doing some dwarf content, maybe they'd toss some dwarves in there, and it'd be like a little leprechaun type hinting.
It's like I
But no.
I saw the Twitter announcement. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so wrong. Red is the new green.
Red is the new green. There you go. Hey, never know. I mean, they did say you weren't going to follow really like real world holidays, so maybe
Yeah.
it'll be a different one.
I love those emotes. It's cute. Didn't they already have green ones? Maybe. I was just hoping to see more like, I don't know. I figured for green, like if I were to come up with like, okay, green-esque theme, probably more like druidic looking things like they had in the last live stream with like the bark looking bears and cats and stuff like that with the
Well, yeah,
like,
they
roots and
Yeah.
plants.
they did have one because it was with the Verdant Keeper and such.
No more like
trying to
green
remember.
plague stuff, right?
Yeah, because it had the little tree guy that would help you out.
I'm curious to
guess,
see what these
yeah.
things sound like in game. Like, I don't know.
They're gonna sound those are gonna sound angry for sure.
I'm kind of excited because I'm like I want to know what Ashes of Creation's version of Murlocs is gonna be.
Probably something in the underworld.
Probably, but just like the sound, like how everybody likes the thing, like
Really awkward but cute, but
yeah,
kind of bad guy things that people
Yeah.
just love to mimic and imitate.
yeah. Oh man, but
But yeah, sir. So, outside of the DCN stuff, by the way, what have you personally been up to lately? Anything fun and exciting as far as your channels? Like, are you? I'm sure you're, still starving for content and whatnot yourself, but
Well, so for me, what I'm basically doing right now is the next video I'm going to be doing is a lore video. And so before they took down the Battle Royale, what I've been doing all along is compiling my own kind of lore perspective for Ashes of Creation. Because one thing that you guys kind of mentioned early on that I thought Ashes would be key for Ashes is their lore, right? And the reason why we're here, because a lot of games have their own lore to kind of fall back on and their own universe and world to kind of draw back into. So even when you mentioned those fun crossovers into games like Final Fantasy, and you have these crossovers into old versions of Final Fantasy, it was pretty cool to always see, hey, that's from Final Fantasy Tactics. I recognize this. I recognize the music from it. I recognize this. That they get a lot by doing very little, if you will. And so what I'm working on now is a video to just kind of explain to people what is going on in the world before the portal, opens and, they leave the world and then they come back, because I have a feeling it's all going to be particularly relevant to what we're doing in the Common Day, and we'll probably see tie-ins with all of that good stuff. So that's, for the most part, what I'm working on. I haven't decided what I'll do for my channel once the game comes out. I've been heavily leaning towards news, but I don't know what the server structure is going to be. I don't know how things are going to be like that. So it's still wait and see, if you will, on that for the long-term plan, if you will. Yeah.
Do you plan on doing any like fanfic or like just making up your own details on things that happen, or kind of just trying to stay true to lore?
Just staying true to lore. That's it. Like straight whatever they gave us, and then speculating kind of off of that what it might mean.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
So those of you that are into lore, go check out AlphaSoul.
That's not out yet, but it will be soon. Yeah.
Oh, so soon, TM.
Yeah. Soon, TM. But yeah, news, like actual news, is going to be interesting with the different servers.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, I've been thinking one idea that I wanted to toss around and see what it'd be like is if it's one massive server, I thought of almost like a press corps type thing of how, journalists get together and report on kind of what's going on and having a newspaper of sorts. But again, it all depends on how many worlds we have, or if there's one, or how easy it is and what the logistics are. But, we'll see how it goes.
Just saying, we need to remind me to talk more about that. We're already working an idea in that kind of general direction.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah. Definitely like to pull you in if that's something you're excited on working on.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So let's talk.
This big secret project we're working on. You guys will find out soon, I promise.
Slowly building
soon
out a framework on it.
Oh, cool.
But aside from that, next week we're looking forward to the big announcements that they have for us. And they said that March is going to be such a big month, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I'm not putting bets down on the timing of anything anymore because I was months wrong about everything so far. But I'm hoping for hey, yeah, so since we were going to go to GDC and show off this little mini demo of Alpha 1, guess what, guys? In a month, it'll be playable for, limited people. That would be pretty awesome.
That would be
to hear something like that.
So when do you think they'll announce Alpha 1? That's up in the air. I think we'll get that next week. Not next week, obviously, but next stream that they have.
That's my hope.
Fingers crossed.
Even if they're to narrow it down, like, within 3 months.
Don't get my hopes up.
I'm just saying, I know that they're going to be talking about it next stream. That's what I was getting at. Was like, we'll find out more information then. I want to see Alpha 1 before I decide to buy anything. That's very fair. I will say that a lot of the things that they ended up taking from like the cosmetics and actually rendering into something, I really enjoyed that. Like, I was just like, oh man, I wish I had gotten that.
Yeah,
Alpha. Definitely don't take anything that I say to get you excited necessarily, because I think I ended up saying that Castle Siege should totally come out by like October, November. Because,
he was like, we're gonna have Castle Siege before Alpha.
It's like, oh yeah, we should be totally set. I mean, they said they got really a lot of the data they needed. They got all the back end back up and running and blah, blah, blah. It should totally be a couple months after they get it back up. Just get a little bit more info. And it's definitely past October.
Lex Max, I had not seen Reckless's video. I've been literally in bed sick. So
still in the car park waiting to be invited back again.
Well, they did keep their promise as far as Castle Cheese goes, and the PI groups before the end of the year last year. Now that said, I'm actually very thankful that they did not go for it. Like I was hoping that they would actually just decide not to do Castle Siege and Horde mode before they had turned out Alpha and had Alpha up and running, and then the rest coming along. Just because even if they did release it, I don't think, and I've always felt this way, not even beforehand, but I don't think, and it's not a reflection against what I played, I don't think Castle Siege is a mode that invites people to continuously play and be sustainable over a long period of time, right? Because the Castle Siege itself is an event that occurs within the game.
Right. And it's not like a constant thing that's up.
Exactly. It's not like a constant competition or something that people are going to go back to. So I thought that it would start with a bang, and then after about maybe, if they're lucky, a week, it would then nosedive off and be right back to where the Battle Royale was, after within that framework. I just didn't think that it was actually sustainable to be something like that. But that was just me. I'm happy. Yeah.
I mean, I could see if they put in like leaderboards and whatnot, like they said they were going to be doing. Like apparently they're gathering the data for it. They just haven't built it out into a display format yet. But if they put in like leaderboards and whatnot, I could see the Castle Siege entertaining people for a month, just because it's. I think it's a little bit more of a mode that might be appealing to more people who don't really like BRs.
Okay.
Because it actually gives you a class kit and whatnot. So I think that's my personal idea anyway. Because I know by on paper descriptions, I like the idea of Castle Siege much better than the Battle Royale.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm just kind of excited. I'm hoping that Horde mode is something that's a little bit more sustainable. But again, it is going to be one of those event things. You turn in a monster coin and you do a whole attack thing. So yeah. But the chat is kind of expressing just kind of like slight worries about like purchasing cosmetics, which I completely hear. Just because we haven't really gotten a whole lot back yet. We haven't seen a whole lot actual in-game. They're definitely past their initial time frame. But to me that time frame always seemed like, I don't know, not necessarily not plausible, but a little bit over eager, if you understand where I'm coming from with it. Where like they were being extremely hopeful for things, but then when reality struck and there was server issues and there was like multiple people in the game causing some server issues as well, like those are things that you need to, over ambitious. Those are things that you just kind of need to occasionally take a step back and like reassess. And also the fact that they started off really small initially and they needed to grow still to be able to even make the game completely. I mean, I've said it before and I will keep saying it again. I think one of the best things that they've ever done was brought Margaret and Toast on to help really like even things out a little bit more, so that Steven can focus on like the things that he needs to be focusing on, instead of giving us partial information and not completely being able to focus on this, that, and the other. Like I think he at one point was just wearing way too many hats for him to properly keep up with everything, and us and PI were feeling a little left out because we weren't always getting information. And then there was just constantly like just so much happening that it's just, I don't know, it's a lot for one person to handle. So I'm glad that they're hiring people on. I'm glad that they're expanding. I'm glad that they're getting things ironed out and worked out, and that we have a community people to and the whole producer situation, exactly, because I mean a lot of things that you hear is not always exactly the case. And I mean, when trying to be very mindful about going forward with game development, you want to make sure that it's in the best interest of the entire company, fan base, and game, and I mean, not to necessarily call out anybody, Activision, but some people just aren't always great at like having the game's interest in mind. They're more having their own interest in mind, and that's the sad truth, but it is a reality, and it is something that I'm really glad that Intrepid was very careful about going through and very mindful with going through it, Yes, producers are a necessary evil. I completely agree with that. Yeah, and I've heard about that too, Devlos, where like Devlos said I had to deal with loads of producers who didn't play games at all and were only there because of pals from Paris who put them there. So like I feel like that's fairly true to a lot of managerial roles, where like you ended up getting into that role because you know somebody who was able to put you there, but then like all the people working under you is like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why did they even hire him? You know, and it's just
Yeah.
If I feel like if more companies were mindful in that aspect and were like, oh, this guy has proven that he actually understands what's going on, actually trusts things, like I feel like that like helps, you know. But it's hard. You need
Yeah, I'm
funding
not
and
a fan
stuff.
when. Yeah, I'm just not a fan when producers put like that big, like the hammer is down, like it gets launched now. It has to go now. Well, no,
Yeah.
it's you got to listen to your developers. If they say it's not ready, like delay is better than immediate flop and implosion after an early launch.
I feel exactly the same way. I mean, I don't remember what game it was because I didn't even bother trying to play it, but there was that game that everybody was like extremely hyped about that's supposed to be like a lot like Ashes of Creation. And that one ended up flopping very quickly. Like a lot of people regretted getting into like the
Which game was it?
orders. I don't remember because
Yeah, I know people
a
were
lot
talking
of-
about Bless being bad like that.
Bless suck. Yeah.
I think it might have been Bless. I couldn't remember if it was like
Yeah,
Bless,
New World.
New World, or Star Citizen, or I feel like it was Star Citizen. I don't know what that one was called. I think that might be completely.
Yeah, Star Citizen is not out yet.
Okay.
That's the one instead.
I'm like,
Uh,
I'm over here not even able to play any video games really, so I'm like, I hear about these things, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I can't even play this one, so I'm kind of glad Ashes isn't out right now because I couldn't even be able to play it right now.
Yeah. But it might have been Bless, because Bless was the one where they had made some promises about retooling the engine and all this other stuff. That's the only game that I've ever gotten a refund on. And only because that I spent like maybe 6 hours playing with files just to get it to work.
Wow.
And then I finally did, and I have a top of the line PC, and it couldn't even run it at, I think it was even like medium settings that it was doing it. So it wasn't optimized. It was havoc all around. So I just asked for my money back after that. So
That's the other thing I have to say I like about Ashes. They're taking a very cautious approach with like making sure things are optimized as they go. That was a very important thing that they needed to keep in mind, because when I was able to test the Castle Siege, the optimization was not quite there, I don't think, because we were specifically told like don't crowd in one area because apparently it was causing some issues server side. But I really appreciate them like taking the time to go very slowly and try to optimize everything. Optimize the mechanics, optimize the visuals of each of the moves that you can do, like a skill.
Yeah, optimize it all now, like even the adjustments they did on grass and such like that.
Soon the game will be so optimized it'll run on your phone.
Run on your phone.
And yet we all crowded in one area at the very end. Yes, exactly, Lexmax. We were just like, oh, sorry, we're already here. Oh,
get all the issues ironed out right now.
Right. Let's just cause that little server issue. No, I'm just kidding.
We're at the beginning of every game. Like, everybody on the portal, go, go, go.
I just hope Steven has shared the lore with the team and is sharing his ideas with all. If we are waiting on Steven to input the ideas in his head, we're going to be waiting a long time. Yeah, that's fair. That's my fear, because I think he is acting as DM and not CD. I can see your worry with that. But doesn't he actually have like a lore book already?
I think he does.
Not sure. I would think so.
Yeah, I think he does.
He seems like the type who would have.
Ashes of Creations, The Adventures of Stuffertons, mobile. But yeah, I haven't tried New World. There was definitely like notifications like, oh, you know, New World Alpha here. And I'm like, again, can't play. So.
Yeah, I don't want to speak on it just yet because I'm pretty sure we're still under NDA.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, Oh god! As soon as they release that NBA, I'm spilling the guts on that.
You're like, I can't wait to
It's-
release this juicy content.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're just. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
There's been some people that just said, yeah, I don't even care if I'm breaking it. I just, no. Just, here's what I don't like. But honestly,
Yeah.
they, from what I hear, they still have time to turn it around if they just undo what they did.
I mean, and
Well,
like
change it
that's-
around a little bit instead of such a sweeping, like, let's just demolish the house and build it up with different rooms.
I hear what you're saying. The way that I'm looking at it is if I'm just guessing this. I'm just guessing what Amazon's expectation is. If you think of Amazon as a company that's coming into the gaming world, then you're thinking of something big, right? You're not expecting them to capture a niche part of the market or put out an MMO that's going to gather a couple thousand players, right? You're expecting something that is going to challenge the top tier or the big five, the Final Fantasy, the WoW, Guild Wars 2, there's two other that are kind of up there, BDO, right? You're looking for something to at least garner those type of numbers or more,
right?
So the direction that they went with the very beginning, which is not a secret, which is a survival open MMO, that was never going to hit those type of numbers, right? And if they thought that it would, then somebody did their research wrong. So the pivot, so it almost doesn't seem like they had the correct amount of planning for that, if you will. So I understood why they pivoted, but I don't know why they put the initial one out in the public to begin with. Because anyone could have told you that there's no way they're going to hit those type of numbers and have that type of success if that's the type of game you want to make. That's it.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of the new games that are coming out are kind of trying to battle for that ability to say, like, yes, we are like able to compete with the big five, but it's one of those things because, like, I mean, brand loyalty, right? If you've been playing a game for so long and you go to play a new game, a lot of people are like, oh, this doesn't have this like that game has, or this doesn't have that like this game has. Honestly, going into Final Fantasy XIV, which I love now, but initially, and I'm glad that I have friends that played previously, I was honestly like, this is so handholdy. And it was like for the first few levels until you got to a certain point, and then it was like pretty wide open from there, and you didn't have to feel as handholdy, but it definitely felt like some parts of it were super slow comparison to other games I've played. And I'm glad I ended up sticking it through because I ended up really enjoying it. But it's just one of those things, like, you have to be willing to try something different and see if it's actually something that you enjoy. And, like, while it's good to compare it to other games that you've played, at the end of the day, it's not that other game. And, like, that's the other thing that you have to keep in mind with just testing out these new games, or even Ashes. Like, when you first play Ashes, it's going to feel very different. It's going to act very different. It's going to be very different. And I think... Yeah. I think that's kind of what we're all excited about, and I so far haven't seen another game or a game company that's tried to hit all of those same marks that Intrepid is.
Intrepid's got a huge task on their shoulders, if you will. I'm curious. Actually, here's a question for you guys. What do you think the ceiling is on, if everything works right? What do you think the ceiling is on the number of players that Ashes of Creation will be able to sustain?
Say one more time.
Question.
If Ashes of Creation comes out to be, the greatest game that we think, the greatest MMO that we think is going to be, what do you think the ceiling is on the amount of players that will play Ashes of Creation?
That's really tricky, mainly because of, there's a lot of people who are getting spoiled by the incredible churning amount of free-to-play MMOs that are out there.
Yeah.
and they're addicted to the free to play thing, and they will discount any and every sub based
Very true.
MMO,
Yeah.
but they don't recognize the fact that all they're doing is devoting time into something they're going to throw away in a couple months because it's garbage, or they're going to throw it away in a couple months because they get bored, or they're going to throw it away in a couple months because they realize that unless they keep dumping in like $100 a month, they're not going to be anywhere near like the top 60% even, let alone, you know, an actual like end game raider or whatever you want to call it. Like they're not going to reach their goals without dumping a ton of money in.
Right.
But they don't recognize that. They just look at, hey, it's a sub game, I'm not even playing it.
And like
Gotcha.
a lot of those are very pay to win, you know. And I mean, it
Sure,
feels
yeah.
good to be like strong and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie on that, but definitely not like, I don't know. I'm more proud to be weak but building stronger by like hard work and like building up my gear myself, instead of just getting a fast pass and just like easy one click I'm like stronger, you know. It just is like building and grinding through that gear. But I don't know,
Interesting.
I think it really depends on yeah, see, WoW had a top at like 12 mil, Final Fantasy had one. I don't know. I'm gonna go moderate, say 500k maybe, considering they're having multiple servers and things like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 1 million would be like goals number, I think. Like when they hit 1 million, then they'll be set. But yeah, I would probably say like at the end of 1 year, unless it's an absolutely perfect launch and it goes amazingly and it suddenly hits like every games publisher out there, that they're like every games news publisher out there, like they all talk about it.
Yeah.
I would say, actually, BCG, that's about what I was gonna say, is maybe like 200 to 300k at the end of 1 year is what I would say. Like that would be my guess.
Well,
I'm
he
not
was
like
saying
a-
at start would be
That would-
a dream, you know.
Yeah, 200k would definitely be a great number.
Yeah. I know you. What do you
But yeah,
think? What are you guessing at?
To be honest, I know this is gonna be a cop out, but I can't really guess right now. Only because there's a lot of fear in my current guess.
Yeah.
And my current guess, and the reason why there's a lot of fear is I remember when I remember what Virtek just said, right? And it's that whole free to play versus pay, issue that a lot of people have. If they see that it has a price tag on it versus all these free to play, they're just not going to give it a chance. That is one of my fears for it. The other fear that I actually have is, if you remember, I think it was PAX East maybe 2 years ago or so, when they released remember that small little demo that they had there?
Yeah, the one that I was super jealous wasn't actually in the game.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. If you remember, there was an older lady there who had asked a question, and it was about full loot specifically, right? And Stephen had stated, yeah, you lose all your stuff when you die, and or it was not a lot about full loot. It was about I think the house being destroyed if the node gets taken over or something like that. The basic gist was you lose your stuff if you die,
right?
And you could see from her response, or not her response, but her face, that she was really stunned that was the case, right?
Yeah. And I think... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you take those two things, and you combine them with the third thing, and that was Eve to me is the space equivalent of what Ashes of Creation is trying to do.
Okay.
Right? So in my head, the number that's floating around is Eve's numbers. Right? And so Eve's numbers are, I think they're in the, let me pull it up, I don't want to misquote. What was it? Yeah, I had in my head basically around 55,000 players, because you start to then talk about the server capacity, and we know that the max capacity for a server, at least that they're going for, is 10k, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically about 5 servers
right
going around. But that's assuming that everyone is in at the same time. I don't know, you give or take that there's 50,000 players per, then you start getting around 200,000, 250,000. So those are kind of the numbers that I'm thinking of in my head. If we get around 2 million or something like that, that's going to be wildly successful, and I'll be super happy.
Yeah,
that's
same.
the case. But yeah, I'm more thinking around that. Yeah.
Honestly, just because there's not, as I think BCG said it earlier, they already had an established universe. Who was that? Yeah, BCG said that. They already had an established universe and kind of just hit 1 million subs with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So I would think like without an established anything really, except for an established Kickstarter, 1 million would be definitely like goals. If they hit that, that would be fantastic. Because they also don't have like a huge name behind them sucking away some of the money from that IP, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
At this point, like Ashes is the company.
Right.
That's its only main thing. So the only place money is going to go to is expanding the Ashes brand.
Yeah. Davlos says it's 300K is the subscriber base for Eve. I think if Ashes could hit that would be successful.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I was just going a little above just for like my ideal. Like it would be nice to have about 500K, but yeah, the more I guess realistic number would be closer to 200 to 300. You know. Daydreaming aside.
Yeah, daydreaming aside.
But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you had some other closing comments or whatnot, I was gonna say we should probably go ahead and scoot on along. We started, we started burning that clock out.
Yes.
What happens when you start talking to somebody who has something interesting to say? You lose track of time.
Exactly.
But if you had any closing comments, feel free to toss them out. If not, we can start getting geared up to take a 5-minute break, come back and do some Jackbox gaming. I know there's a bunch of people that haven't played them and don't even know what they are. So
we'll be excited to talk to you guys about that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna like end our stream technically, but what we're gonna do right after is restart the stream, and then we're gonna just do a 5-minute countdown while we get some refreshments and kind of move around some things. But we're really happy to see you guys here for our official episode podcast, and we are hoping to see you guys join us for some Jackbox gaming. I think Alpha is going to be hanging out with us for that. And we're going to be looking into the Discord to be like adding people in. So if you're interested in joining us in the Discord, go ahead and put yourself into the general chat in our Discord server. And we'll be adding you guys in one by one. But yeah, so thank you so much, Alpha, for being on our podcast with us.
Thank you for inviting me. Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you again. We're happy to hear the update on DCN, you know. Thank you for those of you that have stopped by, and if you have to leave, we completely understand. Thank you for giving us like your 1 hour. But if you'd like to stay for gaming, we'll be right back.
We'll be here for at least another hour playing some games with everybody, so feel free to hang out.
Yeah, we don't get to do this very often with you all.
Yeah, right. We're gonna stop the broadcast, so don't be afraid when you see the stream end. It's gonna come right back up with a little countdown.
Yep.
And we'll see you when that ends.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adios.